Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Nerd Glasses podcast. I am so out of sorts that I didn't do any sort of gag, whatever. There's a lot for us to talk about, and I didn't feel like wasting 10 seconds looking at an imaginary Dan, apparently.
The gag was that the Video Game Awards and a huge Disney press conference happened, and joke's on you, we didn't talk about it last week at all to prep you. So,
yeah. And we didn't tell you it was happening. That way we could monopolize all of your attention on us when we talk about it after it happened.
Yeah!
Hey, Dave, do you want to know what you get when I realize 10 seconds to airtime that I need to make a bad joke?
What's that?
Hey, Dave, why do ducks make bad doctors?
Pourquoi, Boater?
Because they're quacks. All right, let's get down to it.
Bam! That one's an 8 out of 10. I like that one.
You did give me a pun, more like rigor mortis, and I forget what it is already. Okay, so yeah, there's a ton to go over today. First off, thank you everybody for tuning in so far. Arilla's Dragonsbane, more like rigor mortis, hanging out in chat. And thank you to
Vladdy as well.
Vladdy, cool. I opened up my chat just too late to see Vladdy, but thank you there. And of course, to people that aren't in chat, hello and welcome. And we hope that you enjoy the next hour where we motormouth through a lot of stuff because there was a big Disney investor call, which are usually like boring types of things, but they announced a ton of stuff, mostly for Disney Plus, but a few other things as well.
It was there. The ship's not on fire, and everyone should stop saying it.
I saw a meme that was like Mandalorian and Andor, and it's just like, yeah, we'll just do that. And then they see the Mandalorians making money. All of it. And Dave, you'll have the side of the ship with the Game Awards and a whole bunch of announcements there. Before we get to those two, let's see if we can use maybe the first 15 minutes to catch up on whatever other news items we've got. And I'll start off. Usually when we start the program here, I go, hey, who was banned from Twitch? And I looked through, and there wasn't any interesting stories. It was mostly DMCA, whatever. But much like last week, Twitch did ban something instead of someone, and that is the Confederate flag. Good job, Twitch. You're hitting that low bar. They actually issued guidelines that would be in effect as of January 22nd, I think, that covers harassment, hateful harassment, sexual harassment. The Confederate flag is one of the things. Using emotes in a racist manner. XQC was fined by the Overwatch League, I think, a couple years ago for using emotes in a racist manner, and Twitch was just like, eh.
Not XQC, Boater. He's not a perpetual star on our segment of who got banned and who's a giant ass clown.
And following up, we mentioned Forsen with the Horsen thing, the horse porn gif, whatever. Still not back, so there's some confusion about that as well. And then just like some like verbatim updates of like, guys, apparently you're not getting it when we say no harassment. So here's some specifics. Don't friggin' do this. Now, again, enforcement needs to follow through on the guidelines.
Absolutely.
But hopefully it's one more baby step, Twitch. Let's go.
Twitch, it's one thing to count down from 10. It's a whole nother thing to not have an idea of what you're going to do after you get to 0 and people don't stop. The internet's not a place that stops just because you say, hey, that's not nice. Don't do that.
Unfortunately, people will probably find a way around it, says Demon Dragon. Probably, but again, that's what falls to the enforcement side. If they can be like, you meant that in a racist way. And also, you encouraged your followers to go bomb this person's Twitter account.
Intention is tough to prove in court. However, actions are super easy to go. So you were saying hateful things about this person, and then you sent all of your followers to blow up this person's social media. That's a hate crime.
Yeah, and it's like, again, this is Twitch. This is a private company. This is not a court of law. We are not bringing the weight of the law against the person.
But
although sometimes you need to do that in case of swatting.
That is also outlined in said guidelines that you're discussing, that pursuits of legal action will be pursued on these folks that are doing these things to people.
Yeah, but yeah, it's ultimately, this is our sandbox, and here's some more rules that we're going to make you go home if it comes to it.
Speaking on that exact note, Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony in 2020 all got together and allowed Microsoft to make the announcement on behalf of all three of the companies. But It was a huge joint statement, but basically stating very similar idea of young players in our games, in our spheres, are going to be protected and are going to be rules are going to be enforced upon folks. If you want to check out specifically what they're saying, but the gist of it being, we believe in hate. We believe that...
Dave, don't just say we believe in hate and then hold on a minute.
Oh, yeah. We believe that hate and harassment or exploitation of younger players in any way have no place in gaming. We partner with our community to promote safe gaming behavior and encourage the use of reporting tools to call out bad actors. And we comply with all local laws and will respond to all lawful requests from law enforcement. We promptly notify law enforcement if we observe unlawful conduct, and we believe a player is at risk of imminent harm. So, good on you, Microsoft, Sony Entertainment, and Nintendo, both Nintendo Corporate and Nintendo of America, for getting behind and outlining these goals and stanchions, saying that if you're 60 and you're playing Minecraft and you're trying to lure kids to your house, gonna get a call.
Yeah. And again, that's another thing where it's really cool that they make these statements. Enforcement. But again, it's always nice to see a joint statement from the three big console players. And for that matter, Microsoft, as the creator of the OS that basically almost all PC gaming is done on.
Yes.
I would have loved to see, we'll say like Steam as a signatory there, like Valve Software with that, because they're a huge distributor of PC games.
Yeah.
Maybe Epic, but they're a little busy with other silly signatory stuff. So.
Every time Epic came on during the Game Awards, I went. Because we stand with you, Epic Games, in your struggles against those evil bastards at Apple, as I move my iPhone away.
Okay, Dave, another regular that we try to do, what is coming out in the next 7 days?
So in the next 7 days, you can be expecting patches. A lot of patches for a lot of games, but new video games that will be coming out. So we're going to start with... tomorrow, the 16th, and we're going to go all the way to next Wednesday, the 23rd. And there is or next Tuesday, the 22nd. There is a substantial amount of them. There's exactly 5.
Okay, let's hear them.
Demo, a rhythm game developed by Rayark, an independent game developer in Taiwan. Game will be released on iOS and Android mobile platforms. Was released then, is now coming out for the PlayStation Vita and the Nintendo Switch.
Dave, did you just say that something is coming out for the Vita this week?
Yes, it is. And it will be having connection to PlayStation 4 and PlayStation VR as well.
Okay. Sorry, I got broken and had to play with a Lego set.
Another game that's going to be coming out, you know what? We're going to stretch that window to December 23rd because... Did you like Super Meat Boy?
I have not played it.
Of course you like Super Meat Boy. Everybody loves Super Meat Boy. Super Meat Boy Forever is coming out for the Nintendo Switch, the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, the Series X, iOS, Android, Microsoft Windex,
Microsoft Windex,
and
Microsoft Windex, PlayStation Pine-Sol,
and Linux. Wow. Where you will be able to play an expansion of Super Meat Boy and Super Meat Boy, but new levels, new challenges, new mechanics added to the game, because that game carried a lot of people through a lot of times on the 360 and the PS3, and I appreciate that.
Is that coming out in Nintendo Scrubbing Bubbles too?
I would hope so, Boater. I would hope so. Another game coming out for the Windows, the OS, and for Linux is a game aptly titled Who's Your Daddy? Online multiplayer game. It was a Kickstarter game where you will be playing as a team of father and baby. And the father must prevent the baby's death throughout methods such as locking cabinets and placing dangerous objects out of the baby's reach, while the baby attempts to, well, be a baby. It's goofy. It's wildly inappropriate. So if you're not a fan
Yeah.
of such things, definitely don't give that a check out.
100% know exactly what all of the YouTube the YouTube Let's Players are going to be playing next week. Because that sounds right up the alley. Oh God, Call Me Kevin is going to have a field day with that. I think Circle Tunes HD did a cartoon recently of speedrunning life. And it's this kid that like, I'm born, jar of peanut butter, 7 seconds. You can do better than that.
So it's like the almost like a Rick and Morty episode where they played the life of that one gentleman, or like the various VR games.
Okay.
So, yes, Markiplier did play an early access version of that game.
Okay, yes. Okay.
And the last game
yeah.
is definitely not my favorite or anything, and that's why I'm saving it for the last. But on December 22nd, a mecha fighting game called Override 2 Super Mech League will be getting released. And there's going
Dave,
to be...
We need reverb on that. So, say the title again.
Okay. Override 2 Super Mech League. And there's going to be a version featuring one of my personal favorite characters out there, Ultraman.
Nice.
He will be adding into the fray if you pre-order the Ultraman version, which I am certainly not going to do after this program, but really excited for that game. If you've ever played mecha fighters in the past in arcades or things like that, Override has a lineage and a history with Modus Games, making games, fighting games of the nature, and it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I am greatly looking forward to smashing some robot faces in the very near future, and of course being able to reference, hey, this is the other IP from Japan that's not Godzilla, but it's kaiju.
It's the giant robot side of things.
Oh yeah. So that is on my radar, all of the games that will be
coming out the next 7 days, and we have a follow-up on one that came out in the past 7 days. In fact, we have multiple follow-ups for Cyberpunk 2077. Arilla's Dragonsbane already said patch please as far as what's coming out next, but yeah, so Arilla's Dragonsbane, what system are you playing that on as we continue on? Please let me know, because that's pertinent here.
Don't say PS4. Don't say PS4. They really don't want you to play it on the 4. They really don't want you.
The thing is that like they advertise it'll play on the Xbox One and on the PS4, but after release it became apparent that it is so broken on those systems.
Oh,
like,
whammy!
It's whammy. Yeah, and like it's buggy enough for other versions. Like in PC, you can run around, and if you've customized your genitalia with a penis, it might slip out of your pants.
Yeah.
Like body clipping through clothing, a few different ways. It's like that's the one that obviously made a lot of headlines, but like, yeah, it's buggy, but like it runs so poorly on the last generation systems that they are issuing full refunds even if you're outside of your first 2 hours playing the game. They are issuing full refunds for retail copies. They set up a like email us and we'll make sure that you get a refund for your retail copy. This email will be live through December 21st, which is 4 days before a fair amount of people are going to get the game.
Yes. Fat Boy with the Chain, Series X, no issues. Shut up. PC, I saw a few NPCs pop into existence from nowhere.
That's nothing. That happens all the time. As long as they're happening, like 50 feet away or something. If it's right next to you, all of a sudden, like, jump scare.
And also,
different.
don't let them offer you death sticks. You don't want death sticks. In fact, you want to go home and think about your life.
No, give me the death sticks. Yeah, crashes as another thing. It's really poorly made for those early systems. But it still came out on them because it was so delayed. It was originally gonna be on those systems.
You're saying that after all that crunch and all those delays, they still really didn't get as much as even they would have wanted done.
They put out a game that is in bad shape on those consoles so that they can still sell copies on those consoles to make up for the massive cost of production. That said, as far as cost of production goes and crunch and everything, no matter what the game scores, and it's looking to score kind of low right now. No matter what the game scores, everyone's still getting a bonus. It's not going to be tied to a Metacritic score. Everyone that worked on development of that game is getting the full bonus. So that's something, despite the fact that they went hard into crunch.
It's greatly improved from this time last year when we were talking about any company, especially the ones the size of CD Projekt Red that is now, which is not one of the bigger heavy hitters, but still.
Another issue with the game is that at the start of a lot of games where they're like, causing flashing lights can cause epileptic seizures.
Yes.
Please be careful if you're playing, whatever. Cyberpunk doesn't have a warning like that. But what they do have is a device that your character wears that goes over their head that intentionally has a lot of bright flashing lights alternating red and white, which is
the best kind.
Which is based on a device that in part, though not in full, I'm not positive on this, in part can be used to medically induce a seizure. So this was used to lend realism to the game for when you cyberspace something or other. Again, I don't know the exact term off the top of my head.
I can actually tell you that is true, by the way.
No photosensitive seizure warning before the game at all. It's buried in the EULA somewhere. So that's fun, too. Thanks, CD Projekt Red. No one thought that one through.
Did you learn nothing from Pokemon? There's a whole episode we're not allowed to have because of that Porygon, and it did that exact color spectrum.
I mean, eventually they edited and released that. And so what they should have done with Cyberpunk is, number one, epilepsy warning. Number two, epilepsy mode, where you slip the thing on, and it's, I don't know, a calm swirling blue and purple. If it's a specific effect that is triggering it, you can replace that one effect with a mode. You have enough other customizing sliders. I can choose 2 different kinds of penises and customize the length. You can change out something in that scene.
I will say, seemingly though, people on Xbox seem to have less problems than the PlayStation people. On the ones,
one versus the PS4. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seemingly less issues.
There are still issues.
Yes.
And it's still buggy. I don't think it crashes as much. It still looks like garbage. Like compare an Xbox One to an Xbox Series X, and it's one of those, like, again, I use the example of playing Need for Speed Carbon on PS2 versus PS3.
Yeah.
It is that night and day. And that's not the hardware that is the difference. It is how poorly this game has been optimized for these previous generation systems.
Yeah. It's an awful lot like making rhubarb pie and bringing it to a party and then realizing that half the party is allergic to rhubarb. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, you got to put the rhubarb allergy thing on there. Actually, where I used to work, people would sometimes bring in pies and stuff, and they would email and say, "This is in the break room. Here's the allergy information." Because some people, like one person had a gluten intolerance, one person was allergic to nuts, whatever. So yeah.
Also, like, especially during the holidays, nothing says I'm going to get out of my shift like, well, I'll get hives, but flunk.
I wasn't told. You were told.
I will say, Aerial Dragon's Bane, even Nintendo warns people on games it doesn't use it. I got really confused when I was young, and I bought a copy of Tekken 5. And the only thing inside the box for Tekken 5 was a leaflet about epilepsy warning. Yeah. And as we're driving home from Toys R Us, I got really freaked out. I was like, I don't ever think I've ever bothered to look at this before. I don't have any idea what's gonna happen. Like, what is this game? Spoiler alert: Tekken 5 was just fun.
Yeah, it's. I know we have a lot to talk about here, and I want to get to that before the clock strikes 7:30. But really quick, I miss when games came with good size manuals. I'm talking like a PC box that would fit one of these inside the box, like big box PC games. Yeah, exactly. And like, this is a strategy guide, but I have instruction manuals that are maybe like half the length of this, have all the lore and everything. I miss big instruction manuals like that. Even Assassin's Creed, which I'm playing tonight on the Citadel, has, inside its DVD style box, has a 24-page instruction manual. I miss this kind of thing. Now all you get is an epilepsy warning.
Now you can get that stuff in your in your deluxe editions, because that's how you get game guides and all that stuff that used to come with these standard copies.
Yeah.
Which Now
you get the epilepsy warnings and your 3 codes that you paid $30 extra for.
And you're not using one of those 3, by the way. Let's be entirely honest with everyone, Boater. You're not using that 3rd code. You're not using it.
I mean, I redeem it anyway.
If I can't have it, no one will.
Well, it's not... If you trade in a game and you still have the code for it, you're not getting any extra for it.
God, no. Nope.
I did that once or twice. I think I did that with Mass Effect 2 when I was working at Game Nuts. Oh, someone had what we would now know as a season pass unscratched off on the card. Yeah, I gave them an extra couple bucks and charged an extra $5 on that copy of the game. But, like, that's not worth it in general anymore.
And
so
nowadays
common.
They don't cover them. It's just a leaflet
you
with
open
the
it,
barcode printed.
So there is no way to tell if it's been used or not, so you just assume it has.
Yeah.
Okay. It's 7:30. 2 big things, when we mentioned them, the Game Awards last week and the Disney Investor Call. Which one do you want to do first, Dave? We can rock, paper, scissors for it.
Why the hell not?
Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Aha.
Nice.
Disney Investor Call it is then. I am going to, first off...
Disney says more like rigor mortis. So, look at that. You also had chat also giving you your spirit energy.
Yeah, they looked in the strategy guide to tell me what you were going to throw, and so I was able to counter it. So first off, thank you to Gizmodo/IO9 because I was unable to find just a bullet list anywhere. So I'm going to be going through their article that sums things up just to list things off, but we will talk about them separate from what is said in here. There was a huge investor call, and normally they're boring, but this is like, hey, we're announcing a ton of stuff. First, we'll start with Disney Animation and Pixar. There are new series coming to Disney+. Baymax, that is Baymax with an exclamation mark, which is going to carry on after Big Hero 6. Zootopia Plus, after Zootopia. Tiana, carrying on after Princess and the Frog. Moana, carrying on after Moana. And then Iwaju is going to be... Oh, wow. Okay, I only browsed this before. Quote, Iwaju is a bold new collaboration with Walt Disney Studios and Pan-African production company Kugali, telling an Afro-futuristic tale set in Lagos, Nigeria. Oh my god, I'm in. Afrofuturism has been a really big thing in like sci-fi, in books, and it's cool to see that hitting more things. And I already have Disney Plus, and please feed it straight into my veins. Thank you for dropping the link, by the way, into there so that people can follow along. Not everything talked about was going into Disney Plus. Coming into theaters, Encanto from Walt Disney Animation, a magical family adventure inspired by Colombian culture. Pixar revealed Burrow, part of its Spark Shorts program, to air on Disney Plus.
Nice.
A new documentary series called Inside Pixar. Doug Days, following the life of the dog from Up. And a new Cars show with Lightning McQueen and Mater.
So we're going to start the Disney money meter. It's just 1, and as Boater keeps reading, we'll add more.
Okay. Let's see. There's more original series coming from Pixar. Win or Lose. Following a single week in the life of a young softball team. Okay. In theaters, Pixar confirmed that Luca is still due for release in 2021. There is another full-length feature film called Turning Red, about a girl who transforms into a red panda when excited. That's niche, and it's me. And Lightyear. This is not a sequel to Toy Story or anything like that. In the first Toy Story, Buzz Lightyear has a show. And this will basically be that show. And voicing Buzz Lightyear will be Chris Evans. What? Come on, man.
I grew up with Toy Story. I would appreciate not supplemented characters, things like that, if we're going to have Buzz Lightyear. You know.
Tim Allen's a jackass, and I'm fine with him being replaced by America's ass.
Well, they could have done Woody's Roundup then and avoided this whole conundrum.
Fair. We'll hold off on those for a moment. Let's see here. They did. Let's see. It's working with FX to bring the Alien franchise to TV, but they don't have anything more specific than that. Disney Plus is going to cost an extra $1 a month. Okay. Marvel or Lucasfilm? Marvel. Okay.
You know what? I'll just preemptively add 5.
Okay, that's fine. Disney Plus shows WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Loki.
Forgot about that one.
What If, Ms. Marvel, and as well as more news on Hawkeye and She-Hulk. There were some production stills from Hawkeye that not stills, but like set photos that were released from Hawkeye. Looks really cool. I'm excited for that. So let's see. Those are all more or less. Those are all more news about stuff that had already been announced. Meanwhile, new stuff has already been announced. More stuff was announced. Samuel L. Jackson coming back. Samuel L. Jackson and Ben Mendelsohn coming back to reprise their Captain Marvel roles for Secret Invasion. Don Cheadle coming back as War Machine for Armor Wars. Ironheart. A Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special.
Let me get a small one.
Yeah, get a little one there.
A little one. This will become the thing that we talk about in 40 years, being like, remember the Guardians of the Galaxy special that they buried?
Oh, wow. I would love to go to a movie theater again, and oh, wow. Sorry, catching up on chat really quick. Yeah, that occasionally when I'm watching, more often now than maybe a couple months ago, I watch something and I'm just like, the before times. As far as like sitting down in a restaurant or all crowding into a bar or yeah, whatever. Okay. Next year in theaters, it's still Black Widow, Eternals, Shang-Chi. Let's see. Christian Bale is now confirmed for Thor: Love and Thunder, playing the villain Gore the God Butcher. Ant-Man and the Wasp 3. Whose subtitle is Quantumania, and with Catherine Newton coming in as Cassie Lang, let's see here, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is going to have impact on Spider-Man 3. They touched on the passing of Chadwick Boseman, and said that T'Challa will not be recast in Black Panther 2. I think that with Black Panther, they have a really good opportunity to pass the mantle of Black Panther onto another character. And so I really hope that they do that. So we'll see. Votes on who's the most coked out in the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. My money's
What's
on
going on,
Rocket.
Mr. Dio?
I would... I could see... actually, I want it to be Groot. Just because Vin Diesel.
I think it's going to be Drax. I don't think he's going to know that he's doing coke. I think he's just going to do a lot of it.
Okay. Yeah, that... I could see that. I could see that.
Although he'll be invisible. It'll be terrifying.
And the one last thing coming from Marvel, is that the director of the first two MCU Spider-Man movies will be directing a movie for the Fantastic Four, which will be, I think, the third Fantastic Four film in the past 20 years, but it'll be in the MCU, so who knows? The Incredible Hulk was considered better than Hulk, but it's still kind of the one that everybody forgets about in Phase 1, so we'll see. Finally, that leaves us with Lucasfilm. And there was a lot. Again, Mandalorian did really well, so they're like, hey, we're going to just throw everything at Disney+. Let's see here. There is going to be, well, first, actually, before Disney+, there is going to be a fifth Indiana Jones movie, just called Jones, I think, from the director of the latest Wolverine movie, which was just called Logan. So I guess he's bringing the surname-only title scheme with him. They're also adapting Tomi Adeyemi's fantasy novel Children of Blood and Bone. On Disney Plus, again, this is all before we get to Star Wars. On Disney Plus, there is also going to be a new Disney Plus series of Willow, where Warwick Davis will be back. So it is going to be a sequel series to the movie that came out 30-odd years ago. But I'm totally down because I rewatched Willow and I love it. I didn't expect to enjoy it nearly as much on the rewatch because you always get worried when you rewatch something that you enjoyed as a kid. Willow, that worry was unfounded. It's great. Guys, it is so important that Children of Blood and Bone is getting the Lucasfilm treatment. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me that More Like Rigor Mortis was aware of that, and nor that it didn't really leave the book world, so it's cool that it's getting an adaptation, and the fact that it's Lucasfilm is really promising. Now, Star Wars! Star Wars! Let's do it. Do you want another page?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you mentioned the word Star Wars a couple times, so every time they say it, Disney stock goes up a couple cents.
An animated series, The Bad Batch, which is going to be a spin-off of Clone Wars. Star Wars Visions, which is going to be an anime-inspired anthology series.
Yeah, I'll give that one.
Yeah, it's
Bad Batch got two.
Dragon Age. Dragon Age got an anime anthology. Mass Effect did. I mean, Matrix did. Animatrix. You know, anime anthologies are your quick buck. So cool. Star Wars is getting one now. And then A Droid Story, another animated Disney Plus show. On live action, there are 2 Mandalorian spin-offs that were announced. Rangers of the New Republic, which is probably, make that one small.
Yeah,
because
that one could go bad.
Because that one has Cara Dune. It's not confirmed as, but will probably feature Cara Dune, who was played by, why can't I think of her name? MMA.
Ronda Rousey?
Fighter. No. Oh my God, why can't I think of her name? She was in Deadpool. Oh, hell.
Gina Carano,
yeah. So she's kind of in hot water with Disney for her social media presence. They've basically told her in the recently to, hey, tone that down or you don't get a spinoff. So Rangers of the New Republic is announced, and if she tones it down, then she's probably going to be in it. If not, then I'm sure that they can make it just fine without.
and actually, if that happens, this is a preemptive. If she gets thrown, there'll be a little bit more substantial social media presence behind it, and if she tones it down, a little, but not as much.
And then, of course, the big spin-off for Mandalorian is Star Wars Ahsoka, which basically had a backdoor pilot episode a couple of weeks ago. Bold that one. That one's huge. So I don't want to spoil. I mean, it's cool. It's probably going to continue some of the plot lines from Rebels. I don't know. We'll see.
Hopefully for you folks, this will be the big moment where Rebels and a lot of the other associated non-mainline stories and shows and things like that, this is really going to bring a lot of those plots and those characters into the main stage light. Having her on episodes of The Mandalorian was big because it acknowledged that these shows, these stories exist outside of the nine
people that are
films.
curious about them, yeah, both Rebels and Clone Wars, there's stuff coming in from this. Bo-Katan earlier in the season was another element.
Yeah.
The Darksaber itself, which was shown at the end of the first season, so a lot of cool stuff there. A bit more. Andor is going to be a prequel series to Rogue One. It was previously announced, with Diego Luna's character. But they showed a bit more of that. They announced that Hayden Christensen is coming back to reprise his role as Vader in Obi-Wan Kenobi. That is now the title of it. It's not an Untitled Kenobi, Disney Plus, whatever. It is called Obi-Wan Kenobi. It is being headed by Deborah Chow, who directed a few of the Mandalorian episodes last season. She's fantastic. I love seeing what she's doing. There is a show called The Acolyte, which follows a dark side user during the days of the High Republic. And a new series titled Lando. Make sure you keep with the money because Lando. Basically, it's gonna
which
start
Lando are we getting? Are we getting Childish Gambino or are we getting Billy D. Williams?
It is not confirmed if it would see Billy D. Williams reprise his role or if it would be the younger Lando played by Donald Glover in Solo.
Yeah, either or.
Yeah, yeah. And then there were 2 more Star Wars movies that were announced. One by Taika Waititi, although it does not have a title yet.
That's even better.
And then the one that I'm probably the most excited from is Rogue Squadron, which is going to be directed by Patty Jenkins, who did Wonder Woman. And, that announced one was, she's talking about how her dad flew P-4s and how she's wanted to tell a really great fighter film for a really long time and just hasn't had the chance. And now she has the chance to do a great fighter film in a great franchise. And then she walks off the tarmac to where X-Wing is waiting. And it was cool. So my thoughts are that this is almost too much. I love Star Wars. But remember, like, when Disney was about to go all in on Star Wars stories as a format, and it started to get like, ooh, maybe you're getting a little, like, careful there, because, like, I'm at Marvel saturation. After the first overall arc of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, if I never watch another Marvel movie, I'm fine. And there's a lot of stuff coming out, and there's no way that I'll be able to keep up with all of it. I dropped off watching the MCU TV shows, S.H.I.E.L.D. and the ones on Netflix, Daredevil, and so forth. And I worry that that's going to happen now with Star Wars. Like, you don't need to have everything Star Wars coming out, like all these series, so I'm worried about that. Some of these... Whatever. I didn't really care for the Bad Batch arc in the last season of Clone Wars, so I'm probably going to skip that. The nice thing with a lot of these is that you can skip them. And it might tie in later. Like, if you skipped Clone Wars, then you can still get by on watching Mandalorian with Ahsoka in it. You just won't get as much out of it. And, like, that's kind of the saving grace of, if I don't find that one interesting, I can just not watch it.
Yeah.
Which is still... really hard to tell that part of myself that grew up in the 90s loving Star Wars and prequels are announced and I need to watch this 17 million times, whatever. There's a part of me that wants to watch all the Star Wars and I have to tell it daily. You don't have to. It's okay. So we'll see. We'll see what they look like as they get closer to release. I have a Disney Plus subscription, so I'm totally fine, checking them out, doing the 3-episode try and seeing how it goes.
I really like Rigor Mortis's point to your point. Here's a thought. Around the 2008 recession, the Queen of England threw an enormous diamond jubilee with a ton of celebration. Why? Economists recommended that the best way to rejuvenate the economy was to create a lot of jobs and revenue and pour money into the economy again. So, since 2020 has been super harsh on films, I wonder if this is Disney's Diamond Jubilee, perhaps.
I could see it.
They are definitely. The other thing they're definitely doing is the names that you mentioned are people that are. A lot of them are associated with Disney and things like that, but you're also handcuffing them for the next couple of years, and you're keeping them on your payroll so that
that's the thing
these
that a
other
show
streaming
does.
services open up, they're not getting these directors, these writers, these talents.
Yeah, exactly. Also, if Disney is the only investor that can turn out films like this, it's a power grab. So there was news recently that the FTC is bringing antitrust lawsuits against Facebook.
Yes! The House of Cards is being assembled, ladies and gentlemen.
Against Facebook, and I'm wondering how long it is before stuff starts coming against Disney.
It'll be super interesting to see how Disney legally hides all of the things that they actually own and are actually Disney. Because the reality is, as long as they just lob the ears off of something and stop having stuff going, oh boy, they won't notice.
Yeah.
They won't notice. It's a mouse. Yeah.
Gonna catch up on chat really quick, and then Dave, I'll pass it to you for Game Awards. Children of Blood and Bone is a book series by Nigerian-American author set in Nigeria, billed on the book jacket as Wakanda for Harry Potter. For so many kids who have only seen magic and fantasy as white in English, it's amazing that a big shot company that's famous for its special effects has picked up an African series. Yeah, like, really cool that Lucasfilm will be doing this. Again, I haven't seen much, like, fantasy Lucasfilm stuff. Because mostly when I think of Lucasfilm, I think, like, sci-fi. But I know that they have the chops for it. I'm really excited for that. The more I think about it, the more I'm excited. Demon Dragon says live-action Thrawn. I think that's going to be an element that we see in Ahsoka. More or less, that's what was,
I also think it's because Thrawn has books and toys, but not their own media where they are the star, like the focus of every episode.
Yeah, he wasn't the star in Rebels, but he showed up. He was never the main villain in Rebels.
I think this will be the chance to check if that Thrawn following, and if that character has legs, which, as we know, it does.
Yep.
And he is an evil motherfucker, and it would be great to have him as the focus of a program, especially knowing the programs that Disney is capable of writing, directing, the staff they're able to get on it. Thrawn is a character that is substantial and could provide for quite a while, like a Ramsay Bolton almost.
Oh,
for those of you that don't
compare.
Well, you gotta help bringing people into this, because a lot of people don't know a lot of these characters. They've never heard of Thrawn.
He's a little more Littlefinger at least. God, give him some credit. Interesting theory I saw about Starkiller being put back into canon with the Kenobi series. God, I hope not. Starkiller was uninteresting, emo, overpowered trash.
I'll be excited to see if they're back.
Also, if I send that clip to one of my friends, he's probably going to disown me. Okay. Gotta go excited for the VOD. This is a discussion I'm sad to miss. See you on Citadel. More like rigor mortis. I will see you on Citadel when we're playing Assassin's Creed and then working more on the Lego castle. Dave, Game Awards.
Unfortunately, we really do not have time to shoehorn the entirety of the Game Awards 2020 in. So, tomorrow on the weekend, Wednesday, I will be doing some clip shows and looking at it and reacting with Amp Slayer, the person I
would love to show all the trailers that we've seen from everything, but let's see what we can motor mouth through right now.
I was vampedly disappointed by the start of the Video Game Awards. Firstly, that they went in, we're going to announce the awards for esports. No context, no graphics, no visuals given. And so when they started mentioning best esports athlete, and they just started using their names, I don't know who some of these people are.
Yeah.
However, when you put them in the context of Call of Duty League, I was like, oh, I know who Shotzi is from the Call of Duty League. Or you just say, Shotzi.
Yeah.
What do they play? What are they on? They did the same thing with esports coaches. They just mentioned the coaches' names. Again, no physical visuals. They didn't show the contestants until they were just about to announce the awards and the recipients. The esports hosts, I was a little bit more into, because I've watched the Overwatch League. I've been keeping an eye on Twitch and their events. I watched some of the League of Legends events that weren't at absurd times or where I was at work for. I vampantly disagree, although understand that they gave the best esports games to League of Legends. I get it. Still bitter about it, but I get it.
Long distance, pat.
And really, the overarching thing that I'll motor mouth through in the time frame given is, if you watch back any of it, just know that congratulations to Last of Us Part 2. They cleaned up, where they were nominated for 11 different awards, and they won 7 of them, including Game of the Year.
Nice. They also got Best Direction, which there's a fair amount of kickback against, because there was a lot of crunch. Is that good directing?
Yeah.
But yeah, they got a lot of stuff. They deserve almost all of it.
It was a good award show. I'm very proud of the fact that this program, especially because the Video Game Awards, or now it's called the Game Awards, get announced starting the day after the Game Awards for next year. Who they're bringing, what's going on, things like that. And so this program that had to draw all of these video game industry people together, although all of them should have a better internet connection than they did, because some of the folks on these awards clearly were not expecting to get nominated, let alone win. But it was really cool to see the one really big takeaway.
Boy, it's really easy to play someone off stage when all you have to do is just mute their Zoom call. I just realized. I'm sorry.
It was a lot of fun. They did a really good job. I was really mad that they had our good friend Reggie on, and absolutely nobody asked him about GameStop. Not a single person. He was sitting there. Firstly, also, Reggie's getting weird now that he doesn't work for anybody in particular, because he was the only person the entire night that was wearing a headset. Nobody else. Everybody else had phones or microphones, things like that. Reggie had a headset on. And so all of us in chat watching the stream for Amp Slayer were like, why? Why, Reggie? Why? Like, it didn't make any sense. The mic wasn't even that good. Like,
it was probably a wireless headset. You shut mics.
It was a lot of fun. I will say, Jeff Knightley, bro, if you're wearing a black suit with a red tie and the theme of the set and all the graphics behind you are grayscale but black and red, don't wear blue and white high top shoes. It was the most distracting part of any of that. Every time they panned over him, all of us in chat and Amp Slayer stream were going, the shoes! Because they were like near us and they were just so bright.
I don't know, that sounds cool to me. I'd be down.
It was awful, Boner. It was so bad. But all of that aside, the shoes! But there were a couple games announced and all of us were really excited, except that one announcement that was supposed to happen didn't. And I'm very disappointed. I'm also disappointed to announce that we're not going to have enough time to talk about Death Stranding. But I will wag a finger at games journalism and Hideo Kojima for teasing us with appearing at the Game Awards and then just not.
Hello, I'm here.
Couldn't even do that. Couldn't even do like one of those cameos where they quickly flash his face. I would have been very pleased with that. But the games announced during it, and these were new game announcements. Arc 2, Century Age of Ashes, Crimson Desert, Endless Dungeon, Evil Dead the Game,
Ooh.
Evil West, FIST, Ghost and Goblins Resurrection, Loop Hero, an Untitled Mass Effect game, Open Roads, the next Perfect Dark installment under the title Perfect Dark,
Yeah.
Road 96, Season, Shady Part of Me, Chia, the Castillo Protocol, and We Are OFK. The one game that was shown that really caught my attention the entire Demon Dragon, Reggie really wanted to stand out, was Back for Blood, which I will go into a moment's worth of detail about, which is that Turtle Rock Studios,
Yeah.
the people that did the port for Xbox for Counter-Strike,
Yeah.
little game called Left 4 Dead, and Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, I did hear about this. Okay.
So they also did Evolve.
Yep.
They then took their experience working on Left 4 Dead and literally the mechanics and physics engines of Evolve, which were great, by the way. The microtransactions were rampant and they were awful, so hopefully they learned from that. But Back for Blood is going to be the Left 4 Dead continuation that we never got. It was 4 characters. Well, this was already announced at a couple other game shows and things like that. Mm-hmm. But to see those characters roll out with the weapons, the fact that there was 4 main player characters, and then the specialist infected were appearing left, right, and center, and some of them are clearly inspired by the Left 4 Dead baddies, but then combined in some sort of nightmare fuel with the Evolve character models and things like that, so you could see through lines where they learned from these 2 games' behaviors and how they could combine them. The tanks are going to be terrifying, and they're going to murder everybody, and I cannot wait for it. That game was absolutely the one for me. There was also some Warhammer 40,000 stuff that I don't have enough time to geek out on, but I am looking greatly forward to all of these things and more.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting year plus as these things come out. Mass Effect is obviously the one that caught my eye. I was a little worried because at the end it shows Liara, who was in the first trilogy of games, and it's like, how can you tell a sequel to the first trilogy that had like an open-ended, choose-your-own ending kind of thing without just picking one of those as canon?
Yeah.
And are we just dropping Mass Effect Andromeda? But then if you look into some of the symbolism in there, it might actually tie the two storylines together more tightly. So, I don't know. Who knows? Like, you know, it starts out with a shot of two galaxies, and a developer was like, yes, that was intentional. So
there was a new Dragon Age announcement. And a lot of
people knew that Dragon Age 4 was coming, but they did talk more about it. Yep.
Everyone got excited, and then I talked about what we talked about on Nerd Glasses, and everybody in chat kind of sucked air through their teeth and were like, ooh.
Yeah. Yep. I don't remember what the specifics were for the Dragon Age announcement. I'm sorry that the Disney one, you know, did all that, and we only had so much time to talk.
But, ladies and gentlemen, keep it absolutely tuned here at Insane Games TV. Right below me here is that heart button. Make sure you hit that. Make sure you ring that bell. In fact, I'll borrow an old YouTube adage. Make sure you smash that bell so you get notified every single time we go live. Because right after this program is the Citadel. And Boater, you had already announced that you were going to be playing some Assassin's Creed.
Yep. Yeah, it'll be our second time going back to Assassin's Creed 1, because the first time was before we were in the studio. So it's been a couple of months, so going back to that should be a lot of fun. And then, of course, continuing work on the Lego Castle. So probably a couple hours of Assassin's Creed wrapping up with an hour of Lego work. So make sure to stay tuned right here. What's going to happen is we go offline. It takes us, at the moment, probably about 5 minutes to get the set and everything moved over 6 feet that way. And then we go live with the countdown, and I'll see you guys on the other side of that.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in on chat. For those of you who only chatted a little, and for those of you who chatted a lot, it means a lot that you guys continue to help us grow this program here on Insane Games TV.
And make sure you tune in on Weekend on Wednesday tomorrow night, because as Dave said, he's going to show more clips, more trailers and stuff from the Game Awards. I'm going to hang out in chat. I don't think that I'll be here in person, but I'll hang out in chat or like Discord, wherever you want me. I'm happy to be there, so we can talk more about that too. So right here, Insane Games TV, Wednesday night at 9 for that, and just a few minutes here for Citadel. So, yeah, thank you, everybody, for watching. I've done a lot of talking, so I need to down like a bottle and a half of water and get ready to talk more, but slower. So, thank you. Hope to see you soon, and have a good night. I've been Boater.
I've been Dave Mann.
This has been Nerd Glasses. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great night.
Do you want to do a podcast? We make a darn good team. It always goes without a hitch. Let's head to Twitch and go start up the stream. Do you want to do a podcast? It's the Nerd Glasses Podcast. Let's start now. Hi everyone and welcome to the Nerd Glasses Podcast. Come?
All right, I'll do my own bits myself.
Oh! Oh wait, no silence.
We're doing it. Get off the road.